Hey guys, my name's Jeremy. Tonight I'm doing a little video review on the last precision rifle match that I shot. I'm out here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I shoot with Sin City Precision. They're a member of the National Rifle League. They hold a monthly match on the first Saturday of every month, and so we're going to do a little video walkthrough of April's match. I'll give you guys a little bit of background on my shooting history just so you know where I'm coming from when I talk about the stages. I'm primarily a handgun shooter. I've got a master classification in USPSA single stack. That's kind of my bread and butter. I love running 1911s. Not as experienced shooting the precision rifle stuff, but it's what's piquing my interest currently, so that's what I'm spending the most time on. I would estimate that I've got 10 matches under my belt now, but the match that we just talked about is only my second one shooting with a bolt gun. I'm a big Knights Armament fan, so the other matches I shot with SR-25 308 with the 2.5 to 10 scope on it, Night Force with no parallax adjustment, and as you can imagine, I was not very competitive. So the rifle I used for the match that day was built by a guy local to me, Dane Miller of DMR. It's a 6.5 Creedmoor on a Trude 700 action, Hawk Hill 26-inch barrel, 1-in-8 twist, and then it's dropped into an XLR chassis, and I'm using a Trigger Tech trigger. For an optic, I've got a Vortex 4.5 to 27 and some Seekins rings. And again, the rifle is a hammer. Easily, half-inch, all day, every day. The load I was using, I'm shooting Nosler 140 cc's, powder is 4451. My velocity is right at 2810. I can't give you the SD off the top of my head, but it's under 10. So the match was a 6-stage match. Total round count was 63 rounds possible. Let's take a look at stage 1. So the first stage of the day was stage 5.1, Better Hustle. It was a 3-position stage. At each position you would engage 3 targets, 1 round each. First position you would start from the closest target and work your way out to the farthest. Go to position 2 and go from farthest to closest, and then position 3 it was closest to farthest again. Targets were at 621, 724, and then 952. We didn't get video of the very beginning of the stage, but I started approximately 10 yards away from the first position. You had to run uphill just a little bit. The rifle was already staged, jumped down at the bottom, and started to engage the first target. Honestly, I wasn't ready to shoot this stage. My mind wasn't right. I didn't have the targets all memorized in either their position or the order I was supposed to shoot them in. And my body position wasn't great. I was consistently hitting right of the target, so I'm going to assume that my position behind the rifle wasn't good because later on in the match my rifle's shooting dead on. So I move over to position 2. We're shooting off of a cinder block and we're shooting from far to close this time. So I engaged the farthest target, but there was a little error on the spotter's part. I shoot at the far target and the spotter doesn't see that, and so he calls out to me that I'm shooting the wrong target, which kind of caused me to second guess myself. So there's a little mental screw up there. We got that sorted out. I went to the second target. Go to the last target, which is the closest one, finally get a hit. And then I'm moving over to position 3, and that's when the timer goes. So I got 6 rounds out of the 9 off. So lessons learned from that first stage. Obviously my mental game was not where it needed to be. Because I was not on my mental game, I wasn't focusing on the things that I should have been focusing on, so my body position was off, and I got flustered when I wasn't making hits. I started questioning my dope, and overall it wasn't a good stage. I wasn't ready to shoot. I should have asked to be bumped down, or maybe I should have just been ready to go. So the second stage of the day, stage 5.2, Tyromania. This was one of my favorite stages of the day. You started out with your rifle staged behind a tire, which was going to be used as a prop for the entire stage. On the signal, you got down behind the tire, threw a bag up on the top, and then you engaged a little man rack at 300 yards. 1 round onto each target. There was 4 targets total. After you shot your 4 rounds, you rotated that tire 90 degrees and then re-engaged the target rack from the top of the tire. After shooting your second volley of 4 rounds, you then shot through the tire for your last 4 rounds on that same little man rack, so 12 rounds total. So I start out behind the tire. I got a pretty good position this first volley. I'm not a very good positional shooter. You guys are going to see that throughout the video. I need to work on this, but I got a good position right off the bat, and I went 4 for 4 my first time through the rack.
Left. You're left to those. Impact left. Left.
So I get through the rack 4 for 4, feeling pretty good right now. Go to rotate the tire, and I'm concerned that my bag is going to fall off the tire, so I don't get the tire moved around as fast as I probably should have. But I get it situated where I want, and you see I make a little body change right there, and I think that throws me off because the second volley, I don't hit anything. I go 0 for 4. I didn't change my wind hold. Obviously I'm not touching the turrets. The targets are at the same distance. I just went 4 for 4, so I know that my dope is good. There's just a little something there in my body mechanics that's different, and you know, I go 0 for 4 on this second round. So after that second volley, I went 0 for 4. I get down through the tire. I should be in a pretty stable position here. I get my first hit going through the tire, but then I missed the next 2 rounds, and time stops, so I don't get that last round off. So this stage was kind of an emotional roller coaster for me.
Right. Ceasefire, mag out, bolt back. Did you get it?
So what I took away from stage 2 is that just little changes in body mechanics or body positioning can make a big difference. I went 4 for 4 off the top of the tire in my first position, rotated the tire, and you can see I adjust my body slightly, and I go 0 for 4. I didn't change my dope, didn't change my wind hold, shooting the same bullets at the same velocity, at the same targets, at the same range, and I don't hit a dang thing. Then I get through the tire and I get 1 hit, miss my next 2. So I don't know what's going on there. Again, I'm going to blame that on my body positioning, or maybe, you know, my heart rate was just going 120 beats per minute. I don't know. But it was an emotional roller coaster. So I looked at that afterwards and I realized, you know, hey, I need to isolate each shot in the stage. Once that shot's over with, I need to move on to the next one. I can't dwell on the past. And I made that change, and I did pretty good on the next stage. So the third stage of the day that I shot was actually the 4th stage in the matchbook, and that was just due to the way the range was laid out and how the props were laid out. So we shot stage 5.4 ahead of 5.3. So let's take a look at 5.4. So stage 5.4, this was high and dry. This was my best stage of the day by far. You start standing with the rifle at port arms, yada, yada, yada. On the start signal, you jump up onto the rooftop, and there's 2 targets. One target at 400 yards and another target at 591 yards. You shoot at the 400-yard target first, and you shoot at it until you hit. Once you hit that 400-yard target, you then move to the 591-yard target, and you get 2 rounds at the 591-yard target. Hit or miss, you're sending 2 rounds. After that, you move back to the 400-yard target, and you engage that target until you hit, and then it's back to the 591 target, and you continue to do that until time is out, or you shoot 12 rounds.
Oh, I was lasing the further one, not the diamond, Philip. Shit.
So buzzer goes. I'm using one of those cool new Armageddon gear game changer bags that really helped me out here. I get kind of a weird position. You'll see my body slide down just a little bit, but I get the target. First round is a hit. Then I have a little error. I engaged the wrong target with my second shot, so you're not even going to see a splash on this second round. I'm shooting at a target way off to the left on the screen. So that throws me off. I then go to the right target and I miss. Back to that 400-yard target, connect, and then I'm pretty much off to the races from here. 591-yard target, hit it twice. Back to the 400-yard target, hit that, and I keep going back and forth. I don't think I missed another shot after those first 2.
Target, right. You got one. Impact left. Impact right. Next target. Right. Again. Keep going. Impact left. Left. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Impact left. Left. Re-engage right. Re-engage right. Impact left. Left. 2. Impact left.
So I did pretty well on this stage. This was definitely my best stage of the day, but it could have went bad. I had another little miscommunication between the spotter and I. My club usually shoots a stage 2 shooters at a time, and they'll run a spotter on the left and a spotter on the right for each shooter, and then we just call, impact left or impact right. But when you're running 2 spotters with 2 shooters on 2 sets of targets, it's critical that the spotter knows not only the targets that need to be engaged, but the correct sequence that those targets have to be engaged in. And the spotter for me on this stage, he had a little jumble, and so he was calling that I should have been shooting one target when I was shooting the other, and I ended up being right. I stuck with my game plan, but if I would have let that error get to me, that easily could have derailed me, and who knows, maybe I go 3 hits instead of 10, and that could have made a big, or would have made a big difference in the standings at the end of the day. Stage 5.3, around the world. I did okay on this stage. Start position was a little weird for me. We started prone, support side behind the rifle, so I'm shooting off my left shoulder, using my left hand to work the trigger, right hand to run the bolt. 2 rounds at a target, 624 yards. After that, I get up, move to the center of a tank trap prop. 2 rounds at that 624 yard target again. Then I move over to the right side of the tank trap, go prone, primary side. 2 rounds at that 624 yard target. And then you're gonna shoot 6 more rounds, 2 rounds from each of the top posts of the tank trap, and at some point during the stage you're required to make a reload. So I start off obviously behind the gun. I'm in a pretty good position. Buzzer goes, I get 2 quick hits on my target, support side. Pretty happy with myself because, again, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't ever shoot support side. This match really exposed weaknesses in my game, so I know exactly what I need to work on for the next couple months. But anyways, I get 2 hits. You see me make a mag change there. That way I don't have to worry about it later on in the stage. I don't want to take a penalty for something stupid like that. Little hiccup here with my bipod, trying to get that leg up so that I can get down into the center of the tank trap, get a good position. Get that position. You'll see me using my pillow here on the right side of my body. 2 more hits, which was good, so I'm off to a good start here. After those 2 shots, I'm going to move over to the right side of the barricade and engage that same target. Throw that bipod leg back down. And I'm going to get 2 more hits. So far 6 for 6, I'm running good. Alright, so up from the prone, I'm going to go to the first position on the tank trap, and this is where things start to get crazy for me. I don't think I hit another target here. Again, same target, 624, not touching my turrets, not changing my wind hold at all, but body position, behind the rifle, I need to work on it. I don't have a good position here, 0 for 2 from that first leg, and it doesn't get any better for the rest of the stage here. Go to the second leg, 0 for 2, and I don't think I get my shots off. In fact, I know I don't get my shots off on that third leg. 0 for 2 again, so I ended up shooting 6 out of 12 on this stage, which was average, but I could have done better if I was stronger shooting, if my positional shooting game was better. So takeaways from this stage, I was pretty solid at the beginning, even support side, prone, 2 for 2, middle of the tank trap, 2 for 2, then, prone on the right side. Those are kind of gimmies, so 2 for 2 is expected there. But once I got up onto the top legs of that tank trap, I kind of fell apart. Again, exposing my weaknesses, I'm not a very good positional shooter. Not nearly as good as I thought I was before I started shooting this match. So again, that's stuff for me to work on here in the next coming weeks. 5th stage of the day, 5.5. What's your favorite position? I'm just gonna throw this out there right now. I hated this stage. You guys are about to see why. Pretty simple stage, 2 rounds standing, 2 rounds kneeling, 2 rounds sitting, and 2 rounds prone unsupported at a full-size IPSC at 300 yards. So my game plan here was to start standing and just fire 2 rounds off. I didn't think I had a chance in hell at hitting them from the top, so I wanted to get through those so I could get down to a more supported position and maybe get a hit or 2. I ended up getting one hit. You see it right there from the seated position, but I missed 2 for 2 standing, I missed 2 for 2 kneeling, and I missed 2 for 2 supported prone. So obviously I blew it on that stage. I'm not a good positional shooter. I'm going to say that over and over again. But I think I shortchanged myself a little bit because I was mentally out of that stage before I even fired the first round. I told my friends beforehand, hey, I'm not going to hit a single point here. And lo and behold, I got 1 out of 6. If I would have been more positive and attacked the stage thinking that I was going to do well, then the results probably would have been better. I didn't really put any effort into those shots until I got down to the seated and prone positions. And so I'm just throwing points away there, and that's my fault. Stage 5.6, this was the tabletop hop. This was a pretty cool stage, 4 shooting positions. You start standing at port arms, mag in, bolt back. On the signal, you're going to move to the first shooting position, and every shooting position here, there's 4, is going to be off of a different table. So you go to the first shooting position and engage a target at 991 yards with 1 round. Then you move to the second shooting position, table 2, and you're going to engage a target at 400 yards with 1 round, and then go back to that 991 yard target for a second round. Then you move to the third position, you shoot the 400 yard target once, you send a round at a 500 yard target, and then you send a round at that same 991 yard target. Move to the fourth position and you do the same thing. You're going to shoot 1 at 400 yards, 1 at 500 yards. There's a target at 624 you're going to shoot at once, and then you finished up the stage shooting at that same 991 yard target again. So you guys can see the wind is kicking here. It's kind of variable. It was coming in from 1 o'clock and it would shift all the way over to 11 o'clock. I start out with the hit, 991. My dope was 8.1. So I get that good hit at the first position. You can see me spinning my turret for my dope at 400. Get set up to engage that target at the 400 yard line. And I get my first hit. And then you're going to see me spinning that turret all the way back up to 8.1 for the target back at 991 yards. And I don't get a hit here. Spinning the turret again, I'm going to be going to the third position now, dialing for 400, and then I've got a target at 500, but in my mind I didn't have enough time to dial for every target here. So my game plan was, I'm going to dial for 991, I'm going to dial for the 400 yard target, and then I'm going to hold for the targets at 5 and 6. I'm just going to hold off of my 400 yard dope. And it ended up working out okay for me. I had a little bit more time than I thought. Once I finished the stage, I probably could have dialed for everything, but I don't regret dialing and holding, doing my little combo, because I don't feel like it handicapped me at all. So I get over in the fourth position. I'm going to engage that 400 yard target again, get a hit, going out to the 500 yard target. Missed there. Now I'm going to the 600 yard target. It's the only time I engage this target is from the last position. Holding again, get a hit, and then it's back out to 991. You see me dialing. Again, my dope was 8.1, and I don't get a hit here. The wind was pretty vicious on this last stage. You guys can see the flags blowing, probably 20, 25 miles an hour. So takeaway for me on that last stage, I'm actually pretty happy with how I did. It was definitely the best stage for me mentally. I was 100% focused. I had my game plan. I was dialing for 9, and I was dialing for 4, and I was holding for 5 and 6. And I executed my plan exactly the way that I wanted to. Didn't get as many hits as I wanted to, especially out at 991, but like I said, the wind was moving out there. It was changing not only from shooter to shooter, but from shot to shot for the same shooter, because there's so much time in between engaging that 991 yard target, 15 to 20 seconds. So the wind was going one way on my first shot, and then when I went to that target again for the second shot, wind is going the other way. And I probably could have spent a little bit more time looking through the scope and trying to figure out a good wind hold, but I was trying to move along because I didn't want to get caught with rounds in the mag when the buzzer went off. I wanted to get all my rounds off. So, you know, I took a gamble. I didn't do as well on that 991 yard target, but I had a game plan and I stuck with it, so I'm happy with that. So there are 2 main takeaways for me from that match. Both of them are going to stick with me for a while. First off, I need to practice positional shooting. My usual routine when I go to the range, I'll get down in the prone, I'll shoot a couple groups, verify my 0. Then I will stay in the prone, I'll shoot some drills out to 1,000 yards. I'll continue to shoot from the prone, I'll shoot a couple more groups on paper just to verify my 0 at the end of my range session. Very rarely do I bring props to the range, and very rarely do I shoot any sort of positional stuff, and I got exposed at this match, plain and simple. There's no two ways about it. The other thing that I took away is that my mental game needs to be stronger. I was not ready on my first stage, and it showed. Those targets were not hard to hit. I just wasn't there mentally, and it hurt me. And then I threw away a stage because I wasn't confident in my abilities. Granted, I wasn't going to go 6 for 6 even if my head was in the right spot, but I should have done better than 1 for 6, and there's nobody to blame but myself for that. I want to give a big shout out to Sin City Precision. Those guys put on a fantastic match. Every month we've got shooters coming in from across the West Coast, and it's a great place to measure your capabilities up against other people. We have some top level shooters that come to those matches. The other club, Desert Sportsman's Precision Rifle, they put on a match that's more oriented towards new shooters. The stages aren't as technical, the targets are a little bit bigger, there's not as much movement, but it's a great place to work on your fundamentals. And if you guys or any new shooters out there are interested in coming out, give us a shout out in the comments or send us an email or just come out to the range. It's a great bunch of guys. They're more than willing to answer questions, let you get behind the guns, check out the gear, fire a few rounds, and I guarantee you guys come out there, you're gonna have a blast.